and welcome to Crystal Hall number 3 here in Baku, Azerbaijan.
As a goal survey, Denisenko really entertaining, and if we get even 10% of that today, well, we're in for a treat.
We certainly are. Well, we'll be talking a little bit more about weight categories when we come to it. But first of all, the schedule for the day, we've got 4 quarterfinals in the men's -80, 4 quarterfinals in the women's -67, and then the semi-finals are also in this session to follow. So we've got 12 bouts, the next 3 hours of action. And I've got to be honest, these afternoon sessions are absolutely thrilling. You don't get a bad fight very often. And, well, here's one that should be interesting to start us off as well. The women's -67's first quarterfinal. It's the world #1, Elin Johansson of Sweden, up against Franka Anic of Slovenia, the world #10.
Yeah, but I'm a really big fan of Johansson's style. Elin Johansson, she moved up a category. She was doing, you know, making reasonable forays in her, you know, junior career, a good fighter, but now just has got the style right. She's got the physicality right, changed her training a little bit. A lot more strength and conditioning work, and it's really paid off because she's so solid in her stance, very good on the front leg, and that obviously pays dividends in this match, or could do. Yes. Of course, Franka Anic, slightly taller, and let's see what she's got to offer.
Both athletes are 24 years old. There's no doubt that Johansson has been the more decorated fighter for sure in her career.
She starts well, just trying to subdue the Slovenian there with that front leg, but it's the stance that's so good from Johansson. She's very compact, very steady on her feet, very hard to overpower, and she's going to need that against Franka Anic, who's very adept at kicking to the face.
Yes, just a quiet start. Both athletes have had earlier round matches this morning just to clear out. Johansson started well with a 14-6 victory over Chloe Aboud of Ireland.
And there was a head kick attempt there from the Slovenian Franka Anic. She almost manages to score that one over the shoulder, but well protected there by Johansson.
Anic won her first match. It was very close. It was a golden point, 4-3 against Rabia Gulick of Germany.
Yeah, when you mentioned Rabia Gulick and her brother Tahir, of course, world champion. He goes later on in the field in the men's -80, so plenty of familial interest, as has been the case so far with the Gladovic brother and sister combo for Serbia, but it is the Slovenian Ankic who's just trying to feel her way into this one.
Yeah.
Into that open stance, will change it to closed stance just to give a different look to the match there from the Swede.
Early days yet, and both fighters just feeling each other out a little bit early on in this first. Sometimes this does happen.
It's vital. You've got to gather the information. The thing that when people see fighters kicking each other and you see the little power graphic coming up, you see the force that's in the shots. It's because they're standing in the right place. The movement, all of this is actually the hardest work. Checking out where your opponent is, which way do they go, establishing the pattern of their combat, because you fight the pattern, not the person.
Well, 0-0 after the first period, so nothing much to write home about, but I guarantee that things will hot up a little bit, certainly in periods 2 and 3. Just looking at Johansson's record, the reason she's world #1, she's won 7 tournaments going back to the beginning of 2014, and some of them are big ones. The Dutch Open is one of the bigger ones on the market. Sure. All the top athletes go to that, and she's also competed in a few Grand Prix. She won, of course, the World Grand Prix finals in Mexico last year, so that really does put her top of the tree.
She's very like Eva Calvo Gomez as well, who we've seen previously take a bronze for Spain. Similar style, very hard to hit, very awkward, and has that, you know, strength and concentration in the close distance. But at the moment, because Franka Anic is much taller, it's hard for her to negotiate that impasse and get in there, get the shots on the board. So the Slovenian will be the happier of the two for sure.
For sure. So we have 3 2-minute rounds. There are Kyungos awarded as well. You see the little yellow card on your screen. That's a warning from the official. And the referee will, if he sees an infringement, he'll give a yellow card. 2 yellows mean a red. And it doesn't mean you're sent off or anything like that. You just lose a point. And, well, your opponent gains a point. In the good old days, people used to end up with negative points, and they stopped that and started awarding points.
Yeah, but I think that was a world governing body want to make it look more positive, because if you win something 0 -2, it's hardly inspiring. So
no, and I think there was a few IT systems and a few journalists around the world going, hold on a minute, is that a minus? How can you score a minus? So yes, it was definitely a good idea.
And a good idea from Johansson there to force Franka-Anic off the mat. She's evened it up in terms of those deductions that you spoke of there, Adrian. And it's the first little sneaky point there from the Swede.
Looking through some of Johansson's results, she's one that does score freely. Once she gets into her rhythm, she can pick up points left, right and centre. So the warning bells here for the Slovenian. Johansson actually took a silver medal in Manchester last year at the Grand Prix. So she's well known.
No, I watched her in that Manchester Grand Prix, and she was excellent. And that was the first time that I've seen her really put it all together on the big occasion. She's got that explosive power, as you see that shot off the spot there. She's got that, you know, quickness, dynamic strength. And there's the body protectors come loose. But this is the first time I've really seen her putting it together consistently. And she's going to have to go some here, because Franka-Anic, although she hasn't been much of an attacking threat at the moment, does have back kicks, does have headshots. At the moment she doesn't have any points though.
Yeah, well, she'll be still happy that this is still close. But certainly there's no doubt that Johansson in blue, the world #1, is the big favourite here. And I think Anic just steps out of court. She might get a Kyungo. She does, and another point goes onto the board for the Swede. There's no doubt that Anic will be happy that she's within touching distance, because when it gets to the third, you may well see, and I think we're going to predict that we'll see a little bit of feistiness from both athletes, and it does get a little bit random, and a Kyungo given there for Johansson, and she wasn't sure what that was for. I think there was yes, he was saying that there was a bit of pulling, but I just saw it coming together, I've got to be honest. Well, Johansson, there's no right of appeal in Taekwondo.
No, I think you're right on that one. The referee just a little bit sharp there, just to give that Kyungo, but they do have the bird's eye view, so I'm going to be nice to referees today. I'm going to try.
Yes, come on.
I think I should. They're doing a great job, to be honest, and it's just as a former fighter, you look at it and think, well, maybe they could have, maybe they should have, but they have the perfect picture of it, and it is a pretty picture at the moment for the Swede, Elin Johansson, because she hasn't had to do too much, and she finds herself with a little lead, small lead, mind you.
Franka-Anic is not totally new to the big scene. She was a bronze medalist at the World Championships in 2013, which means she was really fighting with all the big guns. And in the past 12 months, she has won the Turkish Open and the Spanish Open, which are slightly smaller level events. They're not the big events.
Spanish Open is one of the bigger ones. Turkish, yes, you're right. It's a fledgling event, but the Spanish one's a tough one to win, so a good barometer.
So to win that was excellent. So here we go. Final round, world #1, Elin Johansson of Sweden in blue, and the world #10, Franka-Anic of Slovenia in red, and only 1 point in it. And Johansson here, she'll have been through this before. She's been, you know, there's been a nice little tactic here from Slovenia. You know, Johansson has not been able to, every time her leg goes up, the Slovenian's leg goes up to block.
You're absolutely right, and I know if you've watched some of the matches before, and if you're into Taekwondo, stance is so important in terms of what position you're in. So they're now into an open stance, and that suits the Slovenian, and she snuck that shot in there. If it's the wrong stance, then you're in trouble against a taller fighter. And that open stance, again, they've shifted into the closed stance. So when they've both got the opposite foot in front, like this, it suits the Swede much more. When they go into that open stance like this, then Anic can try and get the shot over the shoulder.
Yeah. Absolutely. Johansson now a little bit concerned. She also has an open Kyungo against her name, which means one more will give a point to Anic, and losing Johansson would certainly open this competition up. So Johansson was certainly the favourite to win this.
Still plenty of time though. There's a headshot just flicking over the shoulder. It's funny there, Elin Johansson actually stopped herself from throwing that. She threw the shot halfway and thought, I'm not going to reach. Pulled back and just missed out on the score.
Yeah. Well, 30 seconds to go. All tied. Johansson gets the punch, but isn't awarded by the judges.
A decent tactic against a taller fighter that was spinning there, so Franka Anic just needs a sneaky shot at the body, and it's the punch this time, as you called, Adrian. Didn't score the second time, but it's stuck in the minds of the judges and the protector of the Slovenian.
But Anic gets one back with the kick round the back, and Johansson goes ahead again with a counter-attack. Now they're starting to score freely. This is exactly what we said would happen. 10 seconds to go. Both athletes know now it's do or die here in this quarter-final. Sweden lead by 1 point. Anic is, she's running out of steam here, but she forces Johansson off, but Johansson scores. Wow, what an incredible point right at the end for Johansson, because that point has given her the win. She receives a Kyungo, which would have tied it up, and that was a lot tighter than you might think, because Johansson scored a sneaky little point as she went off the ring there.
Absolutely. Elin Johansson hanging on there and making sure, as you say, to the last second you keep on fighting. That is the job. Franka Anic obviously disconsolate after that one, but not dispirited. She performed well, and the way that Elin Johansson is in terms of form, well, you would bet against seeing her in the final, so there may be some crumb of comfort for Anic in terms of the repechage, but there's your winner.
Absolutely. It was close, and Franka Anic gave absolutely everything. She was running a little bit out of steam towards the end, and it was possibly that cost her. But a win for the world number one, Elin Johansson. She beats Franka Anic by 5 points to 4.
Yep, Anic tried and tried, but as we said, Taekwondo is the art of kicking and punching, and be interested to know how many matches have been won late in the day by the punches. We saw yesterday with Aziri Azayev trying to take that, and he won it on a sudden death punch. And you know, it is an important tactic, especially against taller fighters. Get in close, throw your shots, and that's what's won it for the Swede.
Yes, the Slovenian there was so close to the headshot. She was waving her hand in celebration and almost imploring her coach to get the card, but I think she knew in her heart that there was no touch there. And Johansson, that was as close as could be.